Why are we hypocritical in running students off, running your family off? The church is a family, and we push them away. You may not think that they hear you or think it might not get back to them, but I assure you, they know when they're being talked about, to some extent. 29% of students who quit coming because they didn't feel connected. I know it's easy to jump into your little close friend groups and have a great time. Trust me, when I was in youth, I spoke to like 6 people. That was it. Tight group. We did our thing. We played ping pong. We goofed off. We yelled and disobeyed when we shouldn't. But that was my group. And that's being comfortable. We're not called to be comfortable. We're not called to live a comfortable life. Taylor Agent, for example, she's not living a comfortable life. She's going over to Asia, and she's been a missionary for the last year. She's going back in 12 days for another year. You think it's comfortable all the time over there? Is it? Is it awkward? Is it tough? Lonely? It's not comfortable. But that's the thing. We're called to go to the ends of the earth. That includes everyone, not just the people you're friends with, not just the people who act like you. It's everyone. Jesus died for everyone, not just your group. 1 Peter 3:18 says, "For Christ also suffered once for sins, for righteousness, for the righteous and for the unrighteous, that he may bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but made alive in the spirit." Christ died for all, the righteous and the unrighteous. So how about that kid at school who is in school or detention once or twice a week? Or the kids who act up on the bus and are shouting and screaming and causing trouble? Or the kid who punched somebody on the back of the bus, for that matter? It's everybody. It's not just you straight A students. Leslie Hatcher, where you at? It's not just for y'all. It's for everybody. Doesn't matter. A lot of the times, students get away from church are students who aren't connected. And they aren't connected because they don't come on Sunday mornings. Students who come on Sunday mornings and are connected in a life group, who meet in those classrooms over there, dig into the Word, create relationships, really have a group of people surrounding them that are more involved. Those are the students who stay in the church. Sure, Wednesdays are fun. I have a great time coming up here and goofing off, and this music is great. But you got to be here on Sundays too. It's not a once-a-week thing. If you only come on Wednesdays, you're here for this hour and a half, whatever it is. That's all the time you're spending with God that week. This can't be the only time you're connecting with God. Sunday mornings can't be the only time you're connecting with God. Sunday nights, for that matter. It's a daily walk. But I'll say Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, that's a start. That life group, those friends, those relationships you'll build, that's your gateway. Those are the people who you can build relationships with and rely on during the tough times. There's plenty of times the people I was in a life group with, I was in Sunday school with, I can call them up, a very few of them, because some of them I just, quite frankly, I wasn't friends with. There's a few of them I can call and tell just about anything. I can say, "Hey man, Dwayne, this is what I'm going through. This is what's going on. I need somebody to pray for me. I need somebody to tell me what they would do in this situation. How should I handle this? What would you do?" And that man's going to sit down and tell me. He's going to pray for me. He's going to do anything he can. The people in those life groups care about you. Not to say these people out here don't, but do you know everybody that's sitting in this room right now? Everybody's sitting on the same row as you, for that matter. You go in that life group, you'll know 90% of them at least, if you don't know all of them. You're going to create relationships. That's where it starts. I asked y'all earlier, have you invited your friends to church? I want to tell you a quick story about me and my best friend. I met him in the 8th grade, and we were so much alike We butted heads. We fought left and right. I thought we were going to get expelled because we were just at each other's necks. And now, close as can be. And it was really awkward at times because I could tell he knew there was a God, and he would talk about church occasionally, but it wasn't the same kind of church I talked about. But I didn't want to bring it up. You know, he claimed to go to church and be a Christian, but he didn't live like it. How was I supposed to know what he really believed? The only thing I can do in that situation is ask. Invest in him. But what did I do? I ran from that. Why? I was scared. It is flat out awkward sometimes to ask somebody about their relationship with God. It can be scary to ask your best friend, or for that matter, family members, what do they believe? And do you go to church? That kind of thing. Why? Why is it scary? Because you don't know how that person is going to react. It can offend them. So what? That doesn't matter. They can get mad at you all they want. All you were doing was caring about them. 8 years. It took me 8 years to talk to him about coming to church. He came once or twice in high school, but I wasn't the one to invite him. Other people were. I prayed. After about 8 years, I was tired of it. And I prayed that God would open a door for me to talk to him. And he did. Back in March, he approached me and just asked what I thought about some things. Instant doorway. But, that being said, it shouldn't have taken him to come to me. We should go to him. It may be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, person who sits next to you in class. Y'all are all starting school back. There's plenty of people who aren't saved in schools. You go to them. Don't make them come to you. But God opened that door for me to talk to him. And I was a little apprehensive about it because I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to step on his toes. I didn't want our relationship to change. But it didn't. He was cool with the conversation. We may have disagreed here and there on a couple things, but he's very open to thinking it now. We've had a few conversations since then, and I believe he wants to have a relationship with God. He's just unsure about it and unsure of what that really means, what that really looks like. But that's my job from here on out to show him. It's my obligation to go to him and say, look, this is how you're supposed to live. This is how you have a relationship with God. This, the love of God, is how you get saved. He's the only way to heaven. Without him, you're going to hell. That's my obligation to tell him. We can't be scared to share the gospel because it's going to be awkward or we might offend someone. Would you say you love your friends? Or for that matter, your family? The greatest love we could ever share is the gospel, God's love for all. Now, not sharing that with someone that you know isn't saved, it's like saying you hate them. You know that John right here isn't saved. Okay? Invite him to church. Tell him about Christ. Because if you don't, if you're not willing to tell someone you know that isn't saved about Christ, you're telling them to go to hell. That sounds harsh, but that's a reality. Not sharing with that person. You might be the only opportunity, the only person to ever share with that person. It may seem so simple and so easy to say, oh, well, so-and-so can tell him, or so-and-so can invite him. But you might be the only person that ever shares with them. Most of y'all are starting school back, or all of y'all are starting school back next week. I know you might not be excited about that, but that's your best opportunity to share with people. You have so many people in school that aren't saved, that don't even know about Christ. Invite them to church. We have our back to school bash in 2 weeks. Invite somebody. You know how awesome it would be to fill this whole room with students, people you know, people you don't know. That gives you an opportunity to share, gives me an opportunity to share. It's an opportunity to save a life. Not physically, but spiritually. And that is much more important. As you start back school next week, I want to challenge you to invite your friends to church. Invite someone you know. Invite someone you don't know. It takes a few tries sometimes, but I guarantee you if you invite them for a few weeks straight, they see that you care. You take the time to invest in that person and say, hey, come to church with me. I'll pick you up. Show that you care. Take the initiative. They'll come. And you might be the first person who's ever shared the gospel with them. I want to read to you John 5, 14 and 16. 14 through 16, excuse me. You are the light of the world. A city situated on a hill cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, but rather on a lampstand, and gives it light for all who are in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to God, your Father in heaven. Be that light as you go back to school. Be the one to stand up in the room and say, come church with me. Be the one who's not scared to talk about God. Be the one to stand out. Stand up for what you believe in. It's important. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Be the light in your schools. Look at that board. That's there, and it's going to stay there as a reminder. Be the light. Let your light shine. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to be here tonight, and just thank you for all that you do for us. Be with these students as they go back to school next week. Be with their parents as they're starting school back. It's a stressful time, Lord. I pray that you'll give them an easy transition, and that you'll be with them as they're starting back. Give them peace. Give them a path to stay on, Lord. I thank you so much for allowing all these students and parents to be here tonight, and just it's a blessing to all of us to be in your presence, God. Excuse me. I pray that as we go out in our daily lives, we will be the light. As we have plenty of opportunities to God, we will share with you. We won't be ashamed of you, but we'll stand up for what we believe in, and we'll share your name, Lord. I ask all these things in your name. Amen.